Bill Gates was a rolling stone. Yet, despite being the richest man on earth for decades, he was admired not just for his billions, but for his humility, his intellect, and his devotion to his wife. Bill and Melinda Gates were seen as the gold standard of modern marriage, jet-setting across the globe, shaping world health policies, and hand in hand at charity galas. They weren't just a power couple. They were the couple. Beaches, boardrooms, even supermodels. Nothing seemed to distract Gates from the woman he built an empire with. But then came the crack in the image. On a quiet day in 2019, the New York Times dropped a bombshell. Bill Gates had met with Jeffrey Epstein, and not just once.
But new reporting from the New York Times outlines numerous meetings between Gates and Epstein.
Their friendship reportedly began in 2011 after Epstein had already been convicted of ugly crimes. Gates shrugged it off.
Said, would give to global health, which is a interest I have.
He claimed it was strictly philanthropic, that he believed Epstein might donate to his global health initiatives. But the world didn't buy it.
Is that of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? Do you regret the relationship that...
Can you explain your relationship with Epstein? Did you have any concerns? Was there ever any concerns you had about it?
Gates says, no relationship, nada, nothing.
Why did you continue to meet with him? When you met him, he was already a convicted sex offender.
Why would Gates say, I had no relationship with him?
Social media turned savage. Reputations that took decades to build began crumbling overnight. And in the eye of the storm, Bill Gates needed one person to stand by him. Now fast forward to May 3rd, 2021. Bill and Melinda Gates announced their divorce. A week later, The Guardian confirmed what many had suspected. Melinda's decision to walk away began the moment Gates' ties to Epstein went public, and many other sources confirmed it as well. And just like that, the image of a perfect marriage evaporated, replaced by silence, scandal, and a $130 billion split. It took Jeff Bezos 24 years to build Amazon into a $1 trillion empire, but it took just one lawyer, one piece of paper, and one signature to erase $38 billion from his fortune. In a matter of minutes, the richest man on earth learned the true cost of love. Even though marriage is a declining phenomenon around the globe, today on Sleuthing Scams, we'd be zeroing in on why the billionaires, the most successful people on the planet, hate it. But before we unravel the truth, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to us. They say love doesn't put food on the table, but maybe food shouldn't be the reason love sits there either. When we look at billionaires, we see the Forbes covers, the private jets, the impeccable suits. But what we often don't see are the scars beneath the suit, the battles behind the billions. They aren't powerful because they're rich. They're powerful because they've been through hell, and they've survived it. Charles Bukowski once wrote, "Those who escape hell, however, never talk about it, and nothing much bothers them after that." This video isn't anti-marriage, but maybe it's time to admit the truth. The love they sell us in movies is rare, and most of us are on our own. Oscar Wilde said it best. They ruin the romance of everything by trying to make it last forever. And billionaires, they've figured it out. They know when the storm hits, they'll be the one left standing. Let's start with the most famous case of all, Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott. Married in 1993, long before Amazon was a household name, Mackenzie stood by Jeff's side as he built the company from a garage startup to a global empire. But in 2019, their marriage collapsed after news broke of Bezos' affair with TV host Lauren Sanchez. The result? A $38 billion divorce settlement, instantly making Mackenzie the third richest woman in the world. No drama, no messy court battles, just one of the biggest wealth transfers in human history. And here's the kicker. Bezos had no prenup. One of the smartest businessmen alive didn't protect his assets. Lesson learned? For many billionaires, That's a nightmare they'll never risk again. Then there's Elon Musk, the man who wants to colonize Mars but couldn't keep his own heart from crashing. Musk married Justine Wilson in 2000. They had 6 children, lost their first son to SIDS, and eventually divorced in 2008. Justine revealed that Elon spent years asking her out, and then when they were in a relationship, he even gave her his credit card to buy as many books as she wanted. But then, a few years later, in her now famous essay titled "I Was a Starter Wife," Justine described their marriage as cold and controlling. Musk once told her, "I am the alpha in this relationship." After the divorce, he went on to marry actress Tallulah Riley, not once, but twice. The first time they divorced, she received $4.2 million. The second time, $16 million. Musk later admitted in an interview, "Being in love makes me happy, but I just don't have time for it." He's now known for short-lived relationships and emotional tweets, but marriage? That's a chapter he's closed. Let's talk about cold facts. Divorce isn't just emotional, it's a financial bloodbath. Rupert Murdoch, media mogul, has divorced 4 times, paying out hundreds of millions. His last divorce? With Jerry Hall in 2022, cost him an undisclosed fortune and made headlines across the globe. He was 91. Bill Gates and Melinda French Gates ended their 27-year marriage in 2021. They split $130 billion in assets. Even Paul McCartney, worth over $1 billion, paid $48.6 million to Heather Mills. After a marriage that lasted just 4 years. So what do all these stories have in common? They weren't just about love. They were mergers. And when they ended, they were corporate collapses. Here's the truth most won't say out loud. The richer you are, the more love becomes a liability. Billionaires don't just fall in love. They negotiate it. They sign prenups, the size of business deals. They draft legal clauses about infidelity, inheritance, brand image, and non-disclosure agreements just to be in a relationship. For them, marriage isn't a union. It's a potential lawsuit. Some billionaires have even turned to cohabitation contracts, legal agreements for living together without the risk of alimony or asset sharing. In a world where one bad tweet can crash a stock, trusting someone with your empire is terrifying. Marriage, for the ultra-wealthy, isn't romantic. It's a legal time bomb with unpredictable consequences. Even in history, kings and emperors used marriage as strategy, not emotion. Alliances, land, power. Billionaires today? They've simply evolved it, with NDAs and trust funds instead of castles and dowries. What billionaires do instead, many opt for long-term girlfriends with no official marriage. Others rotate through brief relationships, keeping legal walls in place. Some go full tech bro monk mode, marrying work and avoiding personal ties altogether. Leonardo DiCaprio isn't a billionaire, but his dating pattern is now a meme. No girlfriend over 25, no commitment, just freedom. It's not about being heartless. It's about being bulletproof. Now let's be clear, this isn't a hit piece on marriage. Plenty of billionaires are happily married, like Warren Buffett, who stayed with his wife Susan till her death, and later married his longtime companion Astrid. But Buffett is an exception. He famously lives in the same modest house in Omaha and doesn't chase celebrity status. Most billionaires live in a high-stakes world of risk management, and love is the one risk that cannot be insured. Marriage is beautiful when it works, but for billionaires, it often doesn't. Because when you have everything, the one thing you fear is losing half of it. So they guard their wealth with prenups, lawyers, and emotional detachment. They sign contracts before kissing. They file trademarks before wedding vows. And when the world asks, why are they always alone? They smile because they know love may be priceless, but divorce is not. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who still believes in fairy tales. We'll see you in the next one.